What would be the output? Hash include stdio.h void display. This is a function declaration or a prototype. Int main, the main function begins here. Int main, printf learn C, display, calling the function display which we declared here, return 0, closing of the main function, void display, the definition of the display function which we declared here. So what we have is printf learning C, then C++, and main, calling back main function from display. So if you want, you can pause the video and guess what would be the output. The output of this program would be this, and because we have a limited space, this print that you see here, it doesn't end here, rather it keeps on printing these two statements, learn C, learning C++, then C again and again and again and again and again. Basically this keeps printing these statements infinite. Let's see why. So as we know, the execution of the program, a C program, the execution starts from the main function. So let's start from here. Int main, the control comes here, printf learn C. So this is how this first statement gets printed. Then we have a function called display. So the control jumps here to the definition of this function display. Then we have printf learning C, then C++. That's how this second statement gets printed here. Then again we see the next statement after this printf is main. So we are calling back this main function. So the control comes back here once again and printf gets executed once again. So that's how this statement it gets printed. Then the next statement is display, that's a calling back this function once again. So the control comes back here. Again this print gets executed and that's how this function gets printed. Then again we see the main function gets called. So basically this keeps happening in a loop. Now two things to observe here. The first time main function was called, or even the second time, or whenever this main function was called, we never executed this statement. So this function has never returned. It keeps calling, the main keeps calling display, the display keeps calling a main, and it keeps happening one inside the other. And what happens, the call stack keeps on increasing. We are never returning and the call stack keeps on increasing and increasing, and probably after some time, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, based on which machine you are running the program, you would see the program crashes or terminates on its own. The reason being, this call stack gets used up. This call stack becomes so huge that it eats all the memory available, and the system basically has to terminate this program automatically. Now this is not advisable. It's not advisable to call main function within any other function in C. The compiler will not give you any error. It won't complain. It would compile and it would run. But this is what the behavior would be. It would end up into a crash after some time, into a segmentation fault. Since this is running infinitely, this is what happens. Now it it happens at times you need to run, you don't want your program to terminate and want it to run infinitely, to keep doing something throughout and never end. So there are different ways of doing it, infinite loop, but not calling main within any other function in C.